All right, so I think we're good to go here. Get the timer. Okay, everybody, this is Ruckus IIV and Friends. We're definitely going to get straight into this one. This is Gazzy B. This is Poetic Princess.
Hello.
This is Jessica.
Hey.
This is Remy.
Hey, guys.
And on the line, we have Kyle, who is the host of King Falls AM.
Creator.
Howdy.
Yeah.
What?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. And we're going to start something a little different. He's going to actually jump in and give his topic, and after that, we're going to have...
I'll do my topic.
You're going to do your topic?
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
do
so
it.
Poetic Princess is going to have a topic. We don't know what these topics are. So, Kyle, go ahead and give us your topic, and I'm going to put on a 10-minute timer and go.
All right, so this perfectly rolls into what we were talking about last episode. If you haven't heard that, you can go watch that on YouTube or hear it on SoundCloud. But why do you guys tell your story? You guys have a story to tell. You're here telling it all the time. Why? What personally drives you to tell your story?
Okay, I think we're going to have to break this one down. That's a good question. Okay. Okay, you guys want to do one at a time?
Yeah, we'll do one at a time.
That gives each other time to think about it. Okay.
Okay.
So, I will. You want me to start?
Yeah, you start.
Okay. So, what makes me want to tell my story is because that's such a tough question. Okay. The reason why I would want to tell my story and the reason why I'm driving so hard to do what I do on YouTube and say here on this podcast is, oh, sorry about that, is because in my case, we hit on something in the last episode that basically there's a lot of people that don't know how to do production. There's a lot of people who want to get into it. And whether it's, vlogging or audio production, whatever the case may be, my fascination with it has always been so intense. And watching other people who succeeded, say like Lucille Ball, okay, let me just go there. And with Lucille Ball, I was like fascinated how she does what she does, and I've always wondered how she got there. So when I do what I do now, I like to try to share that story with people as I'm going through it so they can see it for themselves, and so they won't necessarily be as intimidated to get, into something like that if they want to. And not only that, but I also want to just entertain people per se. My struggle with that, though, as an added note, is I'm always worried that my story is not interesting enough, and that's what I struggle with.
True. I'm the same.
So I guess I could stop there for now because I have to really think about that question. That's a really intense question.
I'm bringing the heat.
Yeah, for real. Gazzy?
Oh boy, I don't know, man. That's a really hard question. I think for me, like I said in the episode before, I've always wanted to do something with radio, and I feel like this is, an outlet I guess I can use to share my opinions or to learn more about others. That's really for me what it is, as far as like the whole podcast platform, is to be able to share ideas and to learn more about other people. And I'm just a very inquisitive person, I guess, on that aspect of it, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that question.
Right? It's hard.
That's a hard question. That's a really hard one. Why do I want to share my story? Because my story is the best story in the whole damn world.
That's what I like.
No, but yeah, that's hard. It's really tough. It's just, like I mentioned before, the radio is always something I wanted to do. So I guess, in a sense, this is as close as I'm going to get to it.
For now.
For now.
You never know.
I have big goals, big dreams. So we'll see.
I think for me, it's like two things. Like one is like representation. Like I want to represent like certain people that weren't represented when I was younger. I feel like there wasn't a lot of people like me that I saw that were like me that I saw on TV or on radio, and I wanted to connect. I would like to connect with people that way. And then also like with my writing, a lot of my writing is based on stuff that I've experienced or that has happened to people around me. And like I'm writing this one story that's based on like a woman going from the South going to the North. And the beginning of that is like a a poem kind of about like rape and how she was raped and she had a child.
Yeah.
Like that actually happened in my family. And then that's why like, you know, half of my family is like super light skinned and the other half is like super dark because we're a mixture of that rape story. And
Gotcha.
like even though that happened like to my, you know, my grandmother, it's something that I can express now that, you know, somebody else might be like, okay, well, just because you go through something like that doesn't mean that you can't have something huge, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
In the
adversity
future.
that you guys have built into something good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to go with that too.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is like, and
I like
you're
to tell-
triggering what I'm thinking now that I
Yeah.
want to add to mine, but after everybody else.
Okay.
Like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Jessica.
I think for me, it's more of coming out of the box and into a more comfortable space for myself, I guess. At the age I'm at now, I've grown and learned a lot. And I'm a totally different person than I was, you know, say 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And so doing something like this is testing the limits for myself.
Expanding your boundaries.
It is. And it's very uncomfortable from time to time.
I agree. It
But-
is.
But I'm learning to get over it, and you know, I want to be the type of person that can help somebody in a situation that I've been through before. I can't say that I've necessarily had a terrible life, you know, because there are people that have had it worse than I have. But in my case, I have gone through a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and you bring up the whole rape story and stuff, and I've experienced all of that. So I want to be a relatable person for people.
Yes.
So
You know,
that's
it's like-
where I'm at.
They say life doesn't begin until you're out of your comfort zone. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
that.
Plus meeting new people.
Yeah. That was actually a really good answer. That was a super good
I've
answer.
got
Great
the lamest
answer.
answer so far here, in case you haven't noticed. So,
Well,
yeah.
mine sounds like I pulled it out of my ass, so whatever. Remy.
Hey, so mine's purely selfish. I have to be honest with you guys.
Perfect.
I tell my story in many different ways, but the big reason is I want to be remembered. I want to be immortal, and not to the world, but there's something that's always nagged at me when you watch TV, you see these famous actors, you read books, you've got Shakespeare, for heaven's sake, you've got these great kings and queens, you've got all these famous people, these people that are immortal. They're dead and they're immortal. And you say to yourself, what are their kids like? What are their great grandkids like? They can actually say, well, here's a picture of my great so-and-so, and this is what they did. And nowadays we're in an age where not only can you see a picture of somebody, but you can make it so that they can see you, they can hear you, and that'll last for who knows how long, maybe till the world explodes. I don't know, but I've always wondered who were my great grandkids or my great grandparents, where am I from? My family, just like her family, come from slavery. They come from rape. There's so many. My daughter is blonde. She's white. She's got blue eyes. Sometimes they turn green. Sometimes they're hazel. And that's a recessive gene. So where did she get that from? I'm not that way. I'm an African American who sometimes looks like I'm Dominican. I don't know. But I want to be that person that my great grandkids can eventually say, well, I know who she was. I don't know who my relatives are, but I want them to say, I know who she was. I can see her, or I can hear her, or she wrote this book and I still have it. I want something that my family can remember. It has nothing to do with the rest of the world. I don't care about the rest of the world. I don't care how and like I said, it's purely selfish. I'm not saying I don't want someone to relate to me. They can relate to me, but I ultimately care about my family.
You're talking personal legacy.
I'm talking personal legacy. I want
Got
to
it.
be immortal. It is purely selfish.
No, there's a lot of people like
What
that.
is a legacy?
I
And you
want to
you
know.
want to show the world that you were, or at least your family. person left. Here's what this person was and did.
Exactly. I don't want to be forgotten. That, I think, is one of my greater fears.
You want your existence
But to somebody
be known.
you will be.
And not just,
I mean, not
just
forgotten,
my
but,
life story. Not
you know.
not what did Tisha do. I don't write anything about me. I mean, I write from things that bother me. What one of my writing teachers always told me was, write about something that makes you so mad you're willing to stand up and fight about it.
Yeah.
And there are some things in my novels that are very gruesome, very gritty, very out there in your face. And I write about those because I'm passionate about it.
Okay, we got 14 seconds on
Oh,
the clock.
crap. I'm sorry. I took up your minutes.
No, you're
No, you're
fine.
fine.
Okay,
You're
it's okay.
fine. What I'm going to do is
That's
I'm
why
going to add.
that's why we do 10 minutes.
We do 10 minutes, but I'm going to add 5 minutes to this clock. Okay.
All right. Well, I'll wrap it up with this. I want to leave my legacy. I'm crazy. I write about crazy things. I write about things that have absolutely nothing to do with my life and everything to do about what I'm passionate about. So I want them to know what's going on in my head.
Okay. And to add into to what you were saying, Poetic Princess. Actually, a lot of you guys just made me really think about it. And to be honest with you, the reason why I want to tell my story is not really for me, but is for others. And the reason being is because I have seen so many things, and it just, to me, it seems like a lot of people are not able to see the bigger picture as to where they are in this place on this planet. And not everybody, but I just see that there's a lot of disconnect. And if there's any way that I can share the experiences that I've had in my life personally and try to get that connected with others with a perspective of trying to open doors for people to look at different things that they've never thought of before, like how to connect with a human being in a way they never thought of. Like, for example, going out to, events and stuff like that, meeting different people. It's not about just doing that and trying to get attention. It's more like, hey, how can I connect with this person and translate that to other people? But on top of that, anything that I would have written, any, stories that I like to write or anything is connected to the idea of creating a new perspective for people to open up on a positive level, that they can have a value to their lives somehow where they can connect not just with me, but anybody else. So I guess that's probably the best way I can put that.
That's a good answer.
I feel better now. Now, Kyle, can we ask you the same question? What is it that why do you tell your story? What is your drive?
Well, I mean,
Since we got a little.
think to sum it up, it's a little all you guys were saying. There's a humanity that we all share here.
Yes.
And right now, currently, Eric, my writing partner, and myself are writing King Falls AM, and like it's very weird, wacky, absurd, but there's a realness to it. There's a realness to the characters. There's a realness to the relationships. There's a realness to the crazy things that are going on in it. And I think it's just basically to keep, like you guys have said, it's a shared humanity. You want to show people you can get through adversity.
Yes.
You want. There's something in our show that it's a lyric from our Christmas musical that I'm insanely proud of, and it's bad times are tough, but not tougher than me. And
nice.
It's a personal motto of mine, but we put it out there into the world. And like I remember when we were in the room writing it hit and like it fit with the song that we were writing. And I was like, man, this means so much to me. I wonder if people will just gloss over it.
No, that hit me. I love it.
It's become something that literally people have had tattooed on their body.
Wow, that's awesome, dude.
But with that said, that it's just a shared humanity. That personal motto for me that we put into the show, and it turned into basically a driver of the show. To show that this character, that the bad times are tough, but that you can persevere through them. And that's part of the shared humanity. There's so many different lessons that you can take and insert into your stories, insert into that you've lived through, that your family has lived through, that you know of, that you can just put into story form and make people feel at home, at ease with it. And that's what it's really all about to me.
Yeah, no, I think we're all kind of mostly on the same page in a way. Remy's the selfish one. Hey, but you know what? I appreciate the fact that you are honest about it.
But with that said,
and there's a
there's
value to that too.
Yeah, I don't feel like
Nobody
yours was
wants
really
to do
selfish.
this and not be. I'm going to live in the shadows with it.
Mm-hmm.
Please like what I'm putting out into the world, but don't know me. There's a certain amount of ego to everything that everyone does.
Agreed.
And especially when you're trying to do something in a public sense, that doesn't make you a bad person.
Oh, I never said I was a bad
truly
person.
A bad person.
I just said that I'm a little crazy is all. I think that I'm a pretty
She said don't put words in my
amazing
mouth.
person.
Don't tell me what to think.
But I'll admit when I'm being selfish, and yes,
I'm wonderful.
I definitely have selfish motivations for it, and I'm not going to hide that. Doesn't make me a bad person, doesn't mean I don't care about the world, but the reason that I'm doing this
43
particular
seconds.
thing, solely selfish.
Has anybody else got a quick thing they want to say? Within
I think we're all a little crazy.
Yep. Welcome
In one
to
way or
Ruckus
another.
IIV and Friends show. Nothing but crazy. But we're
I have
cool
something
with
to
that.
add real quick. I think, excuse me, something that I always try to remind myself is that, you know, there's a saying that says, if it doesn't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough.
Yep.
So that's something I'm trying to like use in my goals and plans for myself is, you know, I feel that if it's a goal that I'm trying to achieve or things I'm trying to do, I'm definitely starting to realize if it's true what they say, if it doesn't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. And I'm starting to realize that now. More and more as I get older, I realize how much more that makes sense, if that makes sense to anybody else
Yeah,
here.
'cause
But
you're
Yeah,
super
absolutely
scared
does.
right
Well,
now.
Yeah.
no, it's true. Complacency is the enemy.
right.
Complacency, when you feel comfortable,
Mhm.
that's when you need to shake things.
You're in
up.
trouble.
I'm not saying
Yep.
comfort can't be good,
Right.
but complacency is what builds you into not growing.
You're right.
Okay, so that was the end of the 10 minutes on that one. We added 5 minutes, which we do sometimes just to kind of give a little bit of an extra breath on the thought process. Now that we've gotten through that one, Poetic Princess, you have a question or you have a topic, right?
Yeah, I have a topic.
Okay, so we're going to go for that and go.
Okay. One topic that we did talk about a while ago when we were talking about who we are, where we came from, and it didn't make the episode. But I thought it was interesting, an interesting dynamic that I never thought about before. So, like, have you ever been bullied or have you been a bully? And, like, how did you get over it? Or,
Stay on the mic.
you know, I'm sorry.
You're okay, that's fine.
How did you get over it, or how did you, you know, if you were the bully, like why were you?
Okay, so if you were bullied, how did you get over it? And if you were a bully, how did you deal with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
like, well-
did you overcome it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to answer this first.
Go for it.
I was bullied. There was one particular person on my block. I'm not going to say his name because he's an a-hole right now, but
No names needed.
No names needed. But yeah, there was. I mean, I was a husky kid growing up my whole life. I was always been a chubby kid, so that was always easy to,
What's
easiest
a
person
fanny
to.
pack? I'm sorry.
The
We're
fanny
not bringing
packs
up the
were
fanny
cool,
pack. Okay.
Fanny packs were cool. I liked my fanny pack.
Hey, they're coming back.
Yeah, they are coming back.
Right. Yeah, you know, I started that. So, no, but yeah, I was bullied. You know, by one particular person. I wasn't bullied by a whole bunch of people. It was just one particular person who bullied me, and I never retaliated. I never tried hitting him back. I mean, he never hit me or anything. He would always just like, you know, make fun of me or like crack a joke or, you know, try to humiliate me, whatever.
Yeah.
But I can never say I retaliated. And I think my way of getting back was just to live a better life than him. I look and I see him, you know, I've seen that person on social media and I can say I'm living a better life than that person. I think I got the last laugh. That's the way I look at it. To me, revenge is always best in silence. You don't have to really do anything or say anything to anyone to get anyone back, I think. I think as long as you live your best life and in a sense of trying to one up them in a sense, like, you know what, you did all that and look at you. Like, look where I am and look at you. You did all that and now I'm in a better position than you are. So,
Okay. Poetic Princess?
Mr. Johnson, I'm going to say your last
think-
name. Yeah, I just said it. Go ahead.
She's a sense of pride for her.
I wasn't really bullied that much. Like in middle school, a little bit because of how I did my hair and stuff. So I would like, now I'm still a little bit paranoid about it. Like I will wear a headband probably till the day I die because of this. But like in elementary, nothing really, because I was kind of like just below the radar. Like I was like right in that middle, like where you kind of aren't, you know, bad.
You
but
weren't a
you're-
target for
yeah,
anybody.
not really.
Yeah.
And I was taller than everybody most of my life. So I guess they didn't feel like they should bully me because I was so tall. I don't know. Maybe I was,
Hey,
You have to
that
reach
does play a
advantage.
role for some people. The physical attributes of a person does deter people from
Yeah.
actually involving themselves with wanting to bother you.
yeah, but like in middle school, yeah, it kind of bothered me. It still sticks with me a little bit, but I'm like, I think what he was saying, like, as long as if you live a better life, well, actually, I'm really not living a better life than that person. They're actually living a really great life.
Well, this took a turn.
But you know, like, I'm over it. Like, I think it was like just a forgiveness thing. Like, I just had to be
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm cool. I am over it. You know.
I just think karma, I believe in karma. So I think, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm not upset at a person, whatever. It's whatever at this point. It was, looking back, it was all childish, but I think karma does come
It
back.
can stick with you, though.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that proves the point. How you're talking about your headband.
Yeah.
That's
I wear it
that
all the
has
time.
stuck with you.
Yeah.
You may have said that you forgive them.
But it's still something I'm paranoid about.
Exactly. In my case, I was the bully. I mean, I didn't go out of my way to be mean to people, but I definitely didn't take anything from anybody. Like Gazzy, I've always been the chubby child. I was always bigger than everybody in my class. So for me, it was more of a do it to them before they could do it to me. It was a defense mechanism.
Self-preservation.
Yes. And that lasted all the way through middle school. Started my freshman year of high school. And the first week, I had gotten suspended for a week from school
Yeah.
from being a bully at a football game. So I ended up in court and had to do like anger management classes, everything. It was at that point where I was like, all right, listen, I'm telling myself if I'm ever going to get out of this place, I have to get my act together. I have to have those credits to get out of here. I hated school. I wanted out.
Sounds like prison.
So for me, that was the turning point. Anymore, it's like if I see it, it makes me angry.
Yeah.
So angry to see bullying.
Yeah.
I have my cousin who's now 14. She's like 5'9", gorgeous. But she was telling me at summer camp, she's being bullied. Like they're making fun of how long her legs are.
And they're great legs.
They are. She's a beautiful girl. Finally, she told me, she said, I just turned around and said, what, are you jealous? I said, and that shut them right down, didn't it? She said, yes, it did.
Good.
There was no violence needed, anything like that, but that angers me to no point. And then to feel and know that I was that person, I feel bad. I would love to be one of those people that go to seminars and talk to kids and, but that's another one of those things of stepping out of the comfort zone, is putting myself out there because kids look at you nowadays because we did it. Like, who are you? You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I do. I was there. So I am a totally different person now, I feel.
Yeah,
But
you're a nice person. I like you.
Yeah. Yeah. We all like you.
sometimes.
We don't feel bullied by you.
The jury's still out on that one, but
No, I get what you're saying. You grew up apathetic at one point, and then you became more empathetic over time. You started putting yourself in other people's position. You started understanding where they were coming from.
Yeah.
And then you started to really feel bad about it because now you saw it from the other side.
Yeah, and I'm talking this started in like the first grade.
Have you forgiven yourself for it?
No, I still carry a lot of that.
That's you got you know what to do. I don't even need to say it. I'm sure that you know that it's something that you are okay to forgive yourself because other people are able to get over those over time.
Yeah, but I don't know if that first grade teacher got over the fact of her student throwing scissors at her.
Listen, I've got
I
a buddy.
don't know the kind of damage I caused to people. I know the damage I personally have, not from people and going to school and kids with me, but my mom bullied me my entire life.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so insecure. And that was another reason I shut it down.
Well, that was one pair of scissors thrown at her, so it's not like she kept throwing scissors. It's just one time. I think she's going to survive.
It might even be one of those stories that she tells,
Other people.
She might
It's
make it a
there was
joke.
this one kid, this one
This
time
crazy
that threw a pair
girl
of
that
scissors
threw
at me.
yeah.
You ain't
And
got nothing on her.
And she probably said,
Listen,
I got over it.
I'm going to tell you right now, I know somebody that threw a table at the teacher and missed, and it busted like a window and they were on like a second or third floor, so there's like an entire thing that was thrown at somebody out of
I'm not going to
anger.
tell you the disgusting things we used to do to one of our 8th grade teachers.
Yeah, well,
One of our
okay, we'll save
teachers-
that for another topic.
One of our teachers quit his job because an
I think
entire
he did
classroom
too.
threw a bunch of dead frogs at him. So,
Frogs.
you know.
So how about you, Remy?
Oh gosh, we have 1 minute.
That's
and
okay. We
34
can extend this one too. It's no big deal.
All right. I was neither a bully nor was I bullied. I'm going to be honest about that. I was always the person in between. I feel like today, well, not today specifically, but now in my life, I get bullied more often than I ever did as a kid. I'm a mix. I'm a mutt. I'm black. I'm white. I'm Indian. I can look Hispanic. And high five to the mutts. So I kind of got along with everybody. I got along with the geeks because we were able to talk about geeky things. I got along with the popular kids because I was very pretty. I had the light skin and the pretty eyes, and I was skinny with the big boobs growing up.
You hear that, fellas?
That's right. Not so much anymore. But,
They don't need to hear that part.
but at the same time, for the kids that did feel awkward, that were heavy set or didn't know how to socialize, I was able to empathize with them and hang out with them. There were days, every day, I would go from table to table during lunch, just hanging out with kids for a few minutes at a time, making jokes, playing around. And if anyone ever talked behind anyone's back, I changed the subject. And I still do that to this day. When people say, oh, so-and-so did this, I change the subject.
So you never got bullied?
I never got bullied, and I never bullied because I was always raised with the idea that people were equal. My mother treated me like I was an adult as a child.
So somehow that you think that... Okay, that was the timer. Pause. Dismiss. I'm going to put another 5 minutes on the clock really quick here. And go. I'm sorry. Yeah. You're fine.
My mom always treated me like I was somebody to be respected. I was never talked down to. I was always taught, even at a young age, if I were to laugh at another kid as a tiny kid, I was told, no, that's not how you treat that person. It was pressed in on me that there's a certain way to speak to somebody. There's a certain way to be spoken to. And if someone does have an issue with them, try to take it from their perspective. How are they feeling?
Empathy.
What are they seeing when they look at you? What is provoking them to try and provoke you? Mm-hmm. And then see what you can do to make it better. And so I did, and it worked. As an adult, people are set in their ways, and the bullies don't even realize that they're bullying. So I take it with a grain of salt, and I move on. And if they push, and I've been pushed, I've been yelled at in the middle of work. I have gone away crying. I will not deny I have cried at work many a time because of bullies. But those people, I still ask them how their day's been. I still come up to them with a smile, and I still treat them with the same respect I would treat my best friend at work. That's just who I am. And at the end of the day, they've got nothing to say. So...
Okay, well, we've got 3 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock, so I'll jump in on this one.
Well, how about Kyle?
Yeah, well, I was going to jump to Kyle, for sure. Actually, you know what? Let's find out about Kyle first.
Kyle, you got 10 seconds. Go.
Yeah, go for it.
I can burn that 3 minutes. You need to jump in. Go ahead.
No, by all means, go for it, and I'll even extend it a little bit if we have to. It's not a big deal. This is our show. We do what we want, all right? We got a timer, but we stretch the timer if we have to.
We're not going to let that timer bully us.
Exactly.
That's right.
I like the way he thinks.
Yeah, I was definitely bullied as a kid. I was bullied at home. My father was a bullying, whatever you want to put that in there. There's a blank there for you. He's a bullying blank.
We could there's a lot of slots we could throw in there.
Oh, believe me, man, I've used most of them. I was also bullied at school, just like some of you guys were talking about, as you're a kid. So it's always easy to pick on that target. But with that said, and I just had this conversation with Eric and a couple other people. I wouldn't be that person without that bullying. Mm-hmm. That's where my sense of humor came from. I learned to be funny to diffuse a situation. Now, with that said, as soon as I realized I was funny, did I start using that to beat people to the punch, for sure. Because I had that my entire life. So there were people that I would in turn be like, oh, well, look at this, you know, and almost as a way to deflect it. Like
a
you're not
distraction.
Look at me if we can look at that. And that's terrible too. And that's an issue. But like, there's a certain amount of bullying, and this is very unpopular, that I think people have to go through to become the people they are. I think in an ultra safe world, if everyone's ultra safe, no one, there's personality traits that just diminish. They're gone.
Right.
You know, that sense of, I would not be a funny person had I not been picked on, had I not been the person to, oh, okay, you're looking at me, let me turn this into about me and not about the joke you just said that hurt my feelings.
Right.
So that wouldn't be there without that bullying.
It made you more diverse, basically.
The bullying that we all got, that we all had done to us, is so much different than the bullying today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, my daughter, she's 15, almost 16. I see the bullying that goes on in that realm because it's not just, I'm going to bully you at school and then it's over with. Your whole life is online.
Now she's got social media.
You're on Facebook, you're here, you're there. You can be followed. It can take over, and it can be something. I'm not saying the bullying we handled was good, because there was certainly some bullying that was terrible.
Yeah, they have,
but it's a whole new dynamic.
Yeah,
of it
they have
now.
their dynamics, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, you knew when school was over, I don't have to deal with whomever. That's over with.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
Now they're there.
That's a good
and
point.
Not only that, the people that you don't know are bullying now too. So you've got people who anonymously are bullying through the internet and saying just devious, terrible things. And like, there's no humanity attached to it. I can say whatever I want about whomever I want because you don't know me. I wouldn't say it to your face, but I'll say it here, and people can like it and retweet it if that's the case. And like, that's a sad situation.
Yeah.
But like, well, I do believe that there's a certain amount, and maybe we're the last generation that'll deal with that, where bullying helps shape us into who we are. Like Remy was saying, she knew how to navigate through different cliques because of, not that she was being bullied, but she knew there's something she has to offer for this clique. There's something she has to offer to that clique. I was very similar in that sense too in high school. I could fit in with anybody because my personality was adaptable, because I knew that I needed to diffuse situation.
Yeah, I was the
and
same
I learned
way.
that at home, and I learned that from being bullied. So without that, I don't know that I'm the same person, and I like the person that I am. So there's a certain amount of bullying that does shape us, and that's not necessarily a terrible thing.
Yeah. Now with that, you're saying that there's a little bit of necessary bullying. I don't feel like certain outlets should be doing the bullying. Like you and I are both in the same situation. Our parents should have never.
Oh yeah,
As
absolutely.
a parent, you should never beat your child down ever.
No.
Because
I mean,
that's the one person you're supposed to trust with your life.
Yes.
Especially
And they've
if you're
done
being bullied
nothing but
elsewhere.
destroy it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
It sticks with you. It's really tough.
I still will deal with these things. I mean, daily. It's something that I constantly struggle with there.
Yeah, it
but
is.
with the other stuff, the little, the fat kid jokes, that's not something that, like, I didn't like, oh man, remember when Billy said this? I'm like, no, that's not something that stuck with me. And that's something that I won't say it was harmless, because it was certainly a terror to go through at the time. But it's something that I was able to use to my advantage. It's basically what I'm saying. I'm not ever saying bullying is good. But if there's things that you can take and take that adversity and turn it into a positive, then you've learned something from it. You've done something good.
Well, and to jump on that, and I'll share my thought real quick if you guys don't mind. That plus, share my spot on that.
We don't mind.
Okay, that's great. The fact that Jessica has learned already to be able to. If anything, you said it yourself earlier that in the other topic you wanted to tell your story so you could help other people. Well, you're doing that now, currently, and that could help somebody else. So your diversity makes you a lot more valuable to the human race. You know what I mean? As far as other people, because of what you went through.
Absolutely.
And that also goes for Kyle and any of us, really. So it's just a matter of the fact: do we want to put it out there, because that's a choice. not everybody takes that choice.
Yeah, because
It's
there's
a
a
hard
lot
choice.
that
It's
it
not
is,
an easy
it is.
choice because you have to put yourself out there.
It is.
And like you said yourself, it's very scary. It's uncomfortable. And sometimes it can gut wrench you from the inside, just starting to spew any of it out to anybody who's never even met you, you know? But, and I know that I say that from my own experience, you know, it's not easy to talk about anything. Even on the vlog, you know, I have a hard time telling my personal stories on there, and that's why I don't put out as much content yet. But I want to help people as well. And I think that what Kyle's doing is, I mean, Kyle, just out of curiosity, do you add some of these topics and stuff into your podcast as far as this kind of diverse situation?
We absolutely have.
Okay.
I mean, we try to have diverse characters, and obviously we're a comedy, so I mean,
Yeah. So you don't want to get too
we try
dark.
to keep it funny.
Yeah.
But with that said, one of our main characters right now is going through some mental health issues.
Okay.
And it's something that Eric and we haven't ever really taken a stand on. We've taken stands on political things before, but like we've never really taken a topic and said, you know what, we're going to hang our hat on this.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing that now because it's a topic that hits very close at home for me.
Yeah.
Mental health.
Yeah.
And also like there's things in that character that he's going through that have been mentioned in his backstory that do go back to the bullying or issues with parents or things like that. So I mean, it's all things that we're going to uncover. But like, I do feel that if you have a voice, you should use it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we've been given the chance to have a voice. So not only do I want to entertain and make you laugh and have fun for the 30 minutes I've got you,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe we can impart a little bit of humanity there too.
Yes, totally agreed. And okay, now with that being said, as far as my case, I was bullied a lot, and for my reasons that I could think of is because I was an only child. And I wasn't around, I didn't have brothers and sisters. I didn't have a lot of people that I didn't have friends all the time to really build a foundation growing up. So I was moving from place to place, constantly. So, for me to socially connect with people was difficult. So all I had was me and video games and television. That was it. So for me to understand any pop culture or anything like that, being in school, any new school that I went into and people wanted to learn about me, I would tell them what little I did know, try to fit in, but I couldn't because I was so awkward in that sense. And because of that, I was constantly bullied. After a while, I just became that target. And the only thing about that is that I was bullied, but I was also a very strong-willed, stubborn person. So I would fight back constantly with the bullies. And if I didn't fight back, I would find a way to get them to think twice about it. You know what I mean? But I would do it when I got to the point where I got pushed to that limit. And I don't like that about myself. I will say that because I have a tendency to be like that still, but I've learned to control it because of what has happened in the past. Now, when I say that, I'll give you an example is, little small examples, just, basically when you lash out and, you end up hurting somebody or whatever because of, they just push you that limit, but you do a little bit overboard because, you just didn't know you had that much anger inside you. So, it kind of went to that thing. But what happened was later on, because of the constant bullying, it taught me to be a little stronger on finding ways to break their egos. And then I became obsessed with it to the point where if I could break a bully's ego, then I'm taking away a lot from them. Not only that, but they could stop hurting somebody else. And so like little by little, I found ways to actually communicate with them and find things about, like, ask them the right question, basically using psychology, asking them questions about themselves that they don't like to hear. And next thing you know, they're
So
already...
you were empathizing with the bullies in order to turn it against them.
Bingo.
Yeah.
I think you still do that now.
Yes.
I feel like
Yes.
you do.
Oh, I do. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But it's not to hurt them. It's really to get them to be aware of themselves. Because
Yeah.
90% of the time, if somebody's bullying somebody, they think it's fun and they feel empowered or whatever, but they're not aware of it. So when they're not aware of the reason, they don't know if it's because they were hurt prior to whether, they were bullied, from family or friends or somebody else or whatever. They don't know that. So if you ask the right questions sometimes, and it has to be genuine though, like you're really like curious about them, they're going to receive that sometimes. And it switches on a self-awareness thing that they never knew they had. And when that happens, sometimes they start to check themselves. And then if you can redirect that somehow, giving them a reason to use that bullying skill that they think they have and actually using that to help other people, they actually have a new purpose. But not everybody knows how to do that either. It's like, it's
But
hard.
you're also talking about bullies with egos, but you have the bullies with the egos and then you have the bullies with the defense mechanism.
Right. Well,
So
that's
they're
why
on
the question.
two totally different levels.
Right.
When somebody starts asking me questions, I'm questioning you, questioning me.
Right.
What gives you the right to question me?
Right. And see, if you get the right answers, though, sometimes you never know. You might go home and think about it. Because if that person gives you the right answer on that question, if you're asking in return, let's say in my case, I know you're being defensive, that's fine. You can be defensive in return. But if I'm genuinely asking because I care about you, it might just, you know what I mean? It's all about the moment too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I cannot be a perfect person and say that every time that's worked. No, I mean, I've gotten myself in more trouble because of it. Are you kidding me? But I'm that stubborn kid that was willing to do that for the sake of trying to help somebody who's even trying to hurt me. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. Eventually, I ended up becoming that. I tried to empower myself by doing that. And then I built my own ego by realizing that no bully could really hold me down at the end of the day. Because I will find a way at somewhere along the line, I'm going to get them. Like it's somewhere.
That sounds like a song lyric.
Yeah.
That really did. It sounded like a song lyric. It was nice.
Wait. Rick
Right?
rolled.
Is it? Is it?
Never going to give you up. Are we Rick rolling people right now?
Yes, let's Rick roll them. Let's do it.
So yeah, I'll just go with that. I mean, I got bullied a lot, and over time, some of the things that was really helpful is that people actually stuck up for me because of the way I behaved, though, like the way I genuinely cared about people. There was just something about that other people found it their mission to just stick by me and protect me when I didn't even need to be protected,
And I think a lot of that was my case. A lot of people stuck by me because I defended my friends a lot.
Yeah.
And I had to learn very quickly that when I was the one getting in trouble, I was the one getting in trouble.
Right.
I may have been defending somebody else, but I was paying the consequences for it.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a lot of people started coming to me for advice. How do you deal with this? I've got somebody who's doing this to me, or I don't know how to fix this. Well, I've always been an optimist when it comes to people.
Yeah, same
Always
here.
trying to figure out how to make them smile. If I can make somebody smile, even if it's for a second, or calm someone down.
That's my goal now.
If
Yeah.
we had a few days ago, we were at a restaurant, there was a waitress who was just so hectic. She was going from place to place. She was cutting us off at our sentences, wasn't listening to the full readout of what we wanted, just rushing back and forth. And it got to a point where my mother had to call the manager because she was so frustrated.
Yeah.
And of course, the waitress is standing right there while my mom's complaining. And so I saw a situation that needed to be diffused. Mm-hmm. And by the time I was done, not only was my mom happy, the manager was happy. I even told the waitress, take a moment for yourself. Go take a breather. I called her by her name. I gave her a smile. And the very next customer she had, she was so welcoming. You could hear, hi, how can I help? And whole persona changed. She realized what she was doing. She realized what her situation was and that it was okay.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, she doesn't have to be stressed out with herself. She doesn't have to feel like everybody is pushing it around her, making demands. She can take a breath. She can be human and be a little slower, take a little time, and people will be a little happier. So that's what I do.
Okay. And so are we all, I guess we're all on the same page on this one for sure then. I mean, some of us didn't get it as much or did it as much or at all. But
I want to add one more quick thing if I can. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Go ahead. Yeah.
I think one thing that I think we can all find as a common denominator, though, is that a lot of these bullies, or maybe not so much but I think a lot of the bullying that we received, whether it's from at home or at school, I think the ones doing the bullying, there is an underlying reason why it's being done, whether it's something they have insecurity of themselves or, defense mechanism, as you guys mentioned, or if there's something that they're jealous of.
Or they're just completely, there are some that are just strictly sociopathic, though.
Right.
There's that case as well. There's no getting through to them.
But I think,
and unfortunately, there are some people like that.
Like, I think now I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm thinking back, and it's so funny that we're talking about this. I never even thought about it until we're sitting here, and I'm thinking back, and I'm like, it's all coming together. Like, it makes sense in a way to me. But that bully that I had, I was also like you guys. Like I wasn't like the odd one. Like I mean, not to say the odd one. In school, I was cool with everybody. The popular people,
Yeah.
the nerds, the geeks, whatever. I was that person that was just cool with everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that particular bully that I had, because he only bullied me on the block, like on our street. At school, it was a different story because I don't know if it's because he saw me having a dynamic with all these different people
Yeah.
that he couldn't have.
And
I think in that sense, I kind of gave him a little bit of jealousy. I think that was almost like the underlying cause for him is like, why does everybody like him?
Yeah.
And then he feels that he has, and like I said, he only did it on our street. Like when we were at school, he wouldn't say a word to me. Like it's not, he doesn't bother me. We get back home, it's a different case because I feel like on the block, it's like, okay, I'm the big dog around here. There's no one else that you can really like, but I feel like, I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
It's just something I just thought about just now. I never even thought about it until we're sitting here talking about
It could be a
this.
sense of loneliness.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
I didn't discriminate.
It honestly could have been Chad. It could
It
have
was
been
boys,
a
girls.
situation like Chad where he didn't have brothers and sisters. Maybe he only knew how to do the video games and stuff like that. But instead of
Yep.
taking it so that he was the one getting bullied, just like her, he was taking it out on you because he saw
Right.
that you were able to do something he couldn't do and couldn't figure out how to
Yeah.
make that happen for himself. So in defense,
Bullies hated me.
he went and attacked the person that was popular.
Yeah.
If you are bullying out there or whatever, like just step back, ask yourself like why, like just if you can, it's not like anybody's watching you while you do it. You know what I mean? Just think about it. And, maybe if there's an underlying reason about it and you're a lot smarter than you think you are, it'll hit you. You'll know. And if you're being bullied,
Take it in stride.
just
Talk to someone.
talk to somebody for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nowadays,
You may think there's no one out there that you can talk to, even if it is your parents that are bullying you, but there's always someone out there
Yeah.
that you can talk to.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
See, right here.
And it
She'll
will
talk to you.
get better. Like if you're going through a really rough time and you think that, you're bullied and I know that sucks because it makes you feel like you're insignificant or you don't matter. The truth is you do matter. And that's why somebody's bothering you. And the problem is you should never give them that much power. Never. Never give them that power.
People are just trying to take that away. You
Right.
matter.
Exactly.
Matter. Want to hear what you have to say. They want to hear your story. And like don't give them the satisfaction of being able to take that from you.
Exactly.
Don't let them snuff your light out.
That's right. Okay, so on that note, for sure, I'm Ruckus IIV. You can find me on my YouTube channel. It's Ruckus IIV. I do vlogs and everything on there for now, and I'm getting better at my production skills as I go along. And I take you.
You've done so well this year.
Oh my God! Thank you.
I'm so proud.
Thank you so
So
much.
proud.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You can also find me on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. On Tumblr, you can find me on just about everything, even Twitch. I'm on everything.
How do I not know this?
You could Google me right now, and you will find just about anything you can think of, Ruckus IIV. I'm all over the place with 247 subscribers. So I pridefully say that it took me a year to do that, but it's a lot of people grow faster, but it's a good growth, and I'm glad to have the people that are on there now because they're genuinely watching, and I appreciate you guys. So if you are listening to this, thank you. If you want to follow us, the whole group, it's Ruckus IIV and Friends on Instagram or Facebook. And does anybody else have anything else they want to plug by any chance? Nothing? No. Kyle's there, and Kyle's definitely got a podcast. He's the host of King Falls AM, and he's all over the place. You could just Google him, and you'll probably see 10 times the amount of stuff for him.
I just did.
It's
It's
great.
true.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can Photoshop that head on. That really wasn't me. Yeah, you can find us at King Falls AM, just about anywhere you want to be. I am at Make Believe Kyle, and my writing partner, who's absent today, is at Make Believe Eric. And yeah, we're around.
Cool. Hey, Kyle, thanks again for being on here.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
I
Thanks
appreciate
for having me.
This is
Awesome.
Gazzy B. This is Poetic Princess, Jessica, and Remy.
Hey.
And I just want to say thanks for listening, and we'll hope to... Oh, if you guys got a comment or anything you guys want to say, or
Question.
yeah, comment, questions, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I hate plugging, so I'm not good at it. I'm trying to get better at it. But anyway, we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.
Deuces.